A cold night settles over Brooklyn. The year is 1986. A car idles by the curb, its engine a low hum in the quiet street. Inside, two men watch a house. They are police detectives. They wear the badge. They carry the gun. Their duty is to protect the people of this city. But tonight, they are not here to serve and protect. They are here to help killers. They are here to help killers. They are here to ensure a man dies. Their names are Louis Eppolito and Stephen Caracappa. On paper, they are decorated officers of the New York City Police Department. In the shadows, they are something else entirely. They are soldiers for the mob. On this particular night, the man they are watching is named Nicholas Vito. He is the wrong man. The Lucchese's crime family wanted to kill a different Nicholas Guido, one who had dared to participate in a failed hit on their underboss. But a mistake was made. A bad address was found in a city directory. Eppolito and Caracappa used police resources to pull a vehicle registration. They confirmed the wrong address. Now they sit and wait as the hit team approaches, knowing an innocent man is about to be murdered because of the information they provided. They do nothing to stop it. They simply watch. Louis Eppolito was born into the world of the mob. His father, Ralph Eppolito, was a made man in the Gambino family. His uncle, his cousins. He grew up surrounded by organized crime, loyalty, violence, secrets. Yet he chose a different path. He wanted to be a police officer. He joined the NYPD in 1969. He was a big, physically imposing man. He cultivated an image of a tough, streetwise cop. He wrote a book, Mafia. Stephen Caracappa had a more conventional background. He was quieter, more cerebral, meticulous. He also joined the NYPD in 1969. He built a reputation as a skilled, dedicated investigator. He rose to the major case squad. The unit handled high-profile investigations, sensitive investigations cases targeting the 5 families. Caracappa had access to top police intelligence. He knew which cases were active, who the informants were, where investigations were headed. Their paths crossed and they formed a close partnership. Eppolito with bluster and street connections. Caracappa with quiet access to sensitive files. The descent of Eppolito and Caracappa accelerated dramatically in the mid-1980s. This was when they formalized their relationship with one of the era's most ruthless mobsters, Anthony Gaspipe Casso, the Lucchese underboss. Casso was a man driven by paranoia and a thirst for violence. He wanted to eliminate anyone he perceived as a threat. Informants, rivals, disloyal members. To do this effectively, he needed an edge. He needed inside information. He needed to know what the police knew. He found the solution in 2 detectives willing to sell their souls. The connection was allegedly made through an intermediary who knew Eppolito's background. The deal was simple. Casso would pay a monthly retainer to keep them on his payroll. Reportedly $4,000 a month, about their official take-home pay. In return, they fed him a constant flow of confidential information. Run license plates, identify informants, leak details about ongoing investigations. They became Casso's private intelligence agency within the NYPD. This alliance was not just about passing information. It escalated to active participation in murder. Casso provided a name, an address, a car, habits. They became integral to the Lucchese family's murder machine. They were present when hits were planned. They used their authority to set victims up for assassination. In some cases, prosecutors would later allege they pulled the triggers themselves. The list of crimes attributed to Louis Eppolito and Stephen Caracappa is long and chilling. It is a catalog of betrayal that spans nearly a decade. Federal prosecutors would eventually link them directly to at least 8 murders, but their complicity is suspected in many more. Each name on the list represents a life cut short and a family destroyed, all facilitated by 2 men who had sworn an oath to protect them. The crimes were not random. They were calculated executions ordered by the mob and carried out with the precision that only police training could provide. Their betrayal was not just passive, it was brutally active. One of the earliest and most shocking cases was the 1986 murder of Israel Greenwald. Greenwald was a diamond dealer who had fallen afoul of a mob-connected businessman. Eppolito and Caracappa were hired to find him. Using their police credentials, they tracked Greenwald down, pulled him over in their unmarked police car, and abducted him. They arrested him, placing him in their vehicle. They then delivered him to Anthony Casso. Greenwald was tortured for information and then murdered. His body was buried under the concrete floor of a garage in Brooklyn. They used the authority of their badge to kidnap a citizen and hand him to his executioners. Another victim was Bruno Facciola, suspected by Casso of being an informant. In 1990, Casso wanted to send a message. Eppolito and Caracappa were once again involved. They allegedly provided information on Facciola's whereabouts and may have even participated in his abduction. Facciola was murdered. A dead canary was stuffed in his mouth, the mob's symbol for a stool pigeon. They helped set up the 1990 murder of Edward Lino, found and targeted via police databases. The motivation for this staggering betrayal was simple and timeless. Greed. Detectives' salaries were modest, not nearly enough for the lifestyle they desired. The Mafia offered a shortcut to wealth. The $4,000 a month retainer was just the beginning. They took large bonuses for specific jobs. A successful murder contract could bring in tens of thousands. Over years, they earned hundreds of thousands in blood money. They lived beyond their official means. While fellow officers struggled, they enjoyed the fruits of a secret life. They bought expensive cars, took lavish vacations, and invested in properties. After early 90s retirement, they moved to Las Vegas, a city built on cash and secrets. They bought houses side by side, hoping to live out their days in quiet luxury. Their money was a ticket to a new life. All cash, thick envelopes, no receipts, quiet meetings, no paper trail. They were careful. They understood financial investigations along with their earnings. They hid cash inside businesses, investments. Neighbors knew them as friendly, retired cops, unaware their comfort was paid for with contract killings. For years, their crimes were a dark secret. A rumor whispered in precinct halls and smoky backrooms. Their names surfaced in investigations, but nothing stuck, protected by rank, reputation, and the code of silence. In the 90s, the foundation began to crack. The feds pressed the Mafia, and bosses fell. Facing long terms, many cooperated. In 1994, Anthony Gaspard Casso was arrested. He flipped, naming two secret weapons, Eppolito and Caracappa. He detailed monthly payments and murders. But Casso was violent and unreliable. The case stalled. Vegas felt out of reach. The file went cold. They were wrong. In the early 2000s, a Brooklyn prosecutor revived the case. The team dug, Ray, interviewed, and corroborated. Former mobsters confirmed pieces of the story. Cops on the payroll leaked setups. The walls closed in. The morning of March 9th, 2005 dawned like any other in a quiet Las Vegas suburb where both men lived. As Eppolito prepared for a restaurant meeting, federal agents and local police moved in. Another team closed on Caracappa. The moment they had dreaded for a decade arrived. The arrest capped the massive, multi-year investigation led by the Eastern District of New York. The indictment was staggering: racketeering, robbery, money laundering, obstruction, and participation in 8 murders. Crime spanned 1986 to 1993, the peak of their collaboration. Rumors became federal charges. Shockwaves hit the city. Eppolito looked shocked and defiant. Caracappa reserved. They were flown back to New York, no longer decorated detectives, but federal prisoners awaiting trial. A stunning fall from grace. A reminder that justice, though slow, is relentless. The indictment detailed the timeline, the victims, the payments, the leaks, and the mountain of corroboration to come. There would be no easy deals. The government was set on trial and full accountability. The trial began in early 2006 and became one of the city's most sensational. Prosecutors methodically painted 2 trusted lawmen as a secret death squad for the mob. The courtroom was packed. Journalists, victims' families, former officers, all in stunned silence. Evidence mounted. Testimony, records, and chilling details of cold cases. Casso, though absent, loomed large. His prior confessions formed the backbone. Mob figures corroborated him. Burton Kaplan, Casso's liaison, offered first-hand accounts. Kaplan described passing cash-filled envelopes and relaying murder contracts. He told of meetings where detectives handed over files that led directly to deaths. The defense attacked credibility, career criminals angling for leniency. They painted clients as dedicated cops framed by mobsters. They pointed to no smoking gun, no DNA. But corroboration was immense. Witness stories interlocked. Timelines matched murders. Unexplained wealth and a sudden Vegas move added weight. Families spoke of loss and years waiting for justice. The conspiracy became human, a story of pain and profound loss. The case had shifted from rumor to a relentless chain of proof. All that remained was the verdict. On April 6, 2006, after weeks of testimony and days of deliberation, the jury delivered its verdict. Louis Eppolito and Stephen Caracappa were found guilty on all counts. They were convicted of racketeering, obstruction of justice, and money laundering, and of participating in 8 murders. A resounding win for the prosecution, a painful vindication for families. The 2 former detectives sat unmoved as fate closed in. A judge briefly threw out racketeering convictions, citing a 5-year statute of limitations. Crimes were early 90s. The indictment came in 2005, but an appeals court overturned the ruling. The clock runs until departure from the conspiracy, including living off proceeds in Las Vegas. The guilty verdicts were reinstated. On June 5th, 2009, sentencing arrived. The judge condemned their grotesque betrayal and the damage to law enforcement. Louis Eppolito, life in prison plus 100 years. Stephen Caracappa, life in prison plus 80 years. They were ordered to pay millions in fines and restitution. They would spend the rest of their lives behind bars. Caracappa died in federal prison in 2017. Eppolito died in 2019. Men who thought they were above the law were stripped of freedom and reputation. The legal process ultimately worked. The story of Louis Eppolito and Stephen Caracappa is more than a shocking tale of crime and punishment. It is a permanent scar on New York, a warning about the fragility of trust. They corroded the very foundation of the justice system. They undermine the faith citizens place in police. Every uniform carries the weight of public trust. The Mafia cops turned that trust into a weapon. Their legacy forced introspection and reform. The case exposed oversight failings and the difficulty of policing the police. Procedures were strengthened. Their case became a grim training tool. A toxic culture of silence and misplaced loyalty can let evil fester. Vigilance against internal threats is as vital as fighting crime on the street. For the families Guido, Israel, Greenwald, Bruno Faciola, and all the others, the convictions brought some justice, but not an end to pain. Their loved ones were killed with the help of the state, by men paid with tax dollars. The empty chairs remain. The human cost of greed. In the end, cost of greed. In the end, this story is a stark, timeless warning. It shows how easily power can corrupt, how money can seduce men to abandon honor and duty. The line between lawman and lawbreaker is not a wall of stone, but a fragile boundary drawn in the human heart. The tale of the Mafia cops poses a question we must keep asking. Who watches the watchman? The answer must be that we all do. We must demand accountability, transparency, integrity from those to whom we grant power, for the price of failing to do so is etched in blood. It was just one of many.